Good afternoon, everyone. It's Rachel with Dakota Wind Meat Goats, and back out at the farm. As you can see, today we are out haying. Finally, we got a break in the rain. So let's check on everybody before we go out there and maybe get a turn on haying. And again, thank you guys so much for subscribing to our channel and watching our videos, supporting us that way. We really appreciate it. I know it's not always exciting, but a lot of stuff to be done at the farm. And we're entering basically the busy season. Vicki, did you need some fresh water in your bucket? Yeah? You do, don't you? Poor Vicki. So we'll be haying. We may even get a chance to clean the barn before too long, depending on how everybody is feeling. There you go, Vicki. Oh. Hate to set it back out in the sun, but here pretty soon. There will be shade over here, so got that done. So I like to fill the creep feeders for the babies while they are out grazing. Just makes everything a lot easier. And we are trying to get them to eat corn. Switch them over to the corn and just top dress with the super expensive pellets that are medicated. Corn's getting in a little bit shorter supply, which is fine. We have a feeder wagon. Full of it up in our brown shed from last year's corn harvest. And you know, we started raising our own corn because corn had gotten so expensive. And wouldn't you know it, the year that we started raising our own corn prices went down. So you can't win for losing when it comes to farming. Dude, big old spider. I don't want to swish you. You gotta get up in there. There we go. Ooh, he's a big boy. Run over and get more feed. That is the hard part about living in the middle of absolute nowhere, which is kind of where we live, is getting feed and getting the feed that you want. Like I said, we used to use the Hubbard brand and we were really happy with it. And it got super expensive. Chew, what are you doing up there? And it got super expensive. And then the dealer just quit. So then we had to find an alternative source. And we, for us, you know, this has rumectin in it, which is a coccidiostatin, or a prevention of coccidia in the little ones. So we like to do the medicated feed. Goats are a creature of habit. And so once you start them on one feed, you kind of have to keep going on it because they develop a taste for it. It gets to be their norm. And so switching feeds is a hard thing. Like I said, we're trying to switch them over to the corn. We have a lot of corn. It's cheaper than buying the medicated feed, so we're trying to switch them over to that and then just dust with the medicated feed so they continue getting that. However, they're having a little hard time switching over to the corn. So we just do a light amount of corn, trying to switch them over. You know, you can definitely throw them off of feed and give them the scours if you just switch over, no alternative. So you have to do it slowly, or else you can cause a lot of belly aches. Make sure that they have baking soda, enough mineral. And as I'm doing this, I'm checking their other mineral feeders for their mamas to make sure that they've got that. And it looks like they kind of slowed down on eating the mineral, which tends to happen, surprisingly enough, when we give them the copper sulfate. Could be a coincidence that that's when it happens. I don't think it is. I think there's something in the copper sulfate that they really need, that they don't get anywhere else, a deficiency in our soil, in our feed. So they're not even coming up to do the lick tubs as much, even though these are about tapped out. We have 4 more down there for them. Yeah, but it looks good. Okay, time to go deliver some food and check the fence line. It is about 85 degrees today. Again, very warm for this time of the year, which is why we're getting these storms coming up. I'm gonna have to switch over to my switch over to my clothing that protects me from mosquitoes. But first, I will take our beautiful cookies that we give to our girls that we get at the dollar store. Yeah, we kind of spoil them. They really like these old-fashioned ginger snap cookies. Ginger is good for their gut anyway. We actually first discovered feeding them ginger cookies or molasses cookies, whichever, when we were raising sheep. We had a buck that was always bloating, and we found that if we fed him a ginger cookie or a molasses cookie with a bunch of ginger in it about once a week, he was fine, that it helped him. So we started doing that for our goats. I don't know if it helps their digestive system or if they just absolutely love the extra sugar. In any case, they're like $1.35 at the dollar store, so pick some up anytime we're there. And thankfully we have a dollar store in our town now. Okay, so now I'm gonna do my rounds, checking the waters, checking the fence. Again, do it a couple of times a day. We created this nice little pathway here so we could get out into this pasture. Stop. You're fine. Ugh, bottle kids. They might have gotten weaned today. So we did decide to fence this off so the babies don't get out onto the road during planting season and everything. And there's some cattle pastures out here. It gets super busy along this road, and it's not just our road, so we have to make sure that the babies don't get up on the road because they're the ones that can get out the most often. So since I'm not going to come back this way, I'm going to shut this gate. And this side of that red gate there leads to where their creek feed is. And we took down some panels off of here so the babies can slip out under and come out here and eat when their mamas are in the yard. So it's kind of like their own little personal place to eat. However, with the damage that was done by the hailstorm to the alfalfa that's mixed in with the grass out here, we decided we needed to take this down so the alfalfa can grow back up. So I think what we're planning to do after we get this raked up, there's not a lot here because again, it knocked down the alfalfa. Once we get this raked up, baled up, after it dries for a day or two, then what we're going to do, I believe, is have these girls come out and graze this. There's a lot of weeds in here because it's newly planted. How are you doing, Milk? I just wanted to make sure you were okay. You're okay, huh? Water's good? Okay, nobody's stuck in the fence. That's good. So then these girls can come out here and graze and start taking down these weeds because the goats will go to the weeds almost first thing, and we wanted to at least knock it down once. So because there was so much alfalfa in here that we were scared that it was going to give them belly aches, cause bloat. Then the hailstorm came through, kind of damaged all of the alfalfa, so we're going to take it down and then let them out and graze. They kind of knocked this off to the side, which can cause the float to overflow. So just, there we go. And then these girls, we have 50 head that are going to be going to Kentucky, yay, in a couple of days. And so that'll leave about 60 head out here. And the plan is to combine them with the 2-year-olds that are up there. We couldn't do it with as many as we have out here now, but then once they're over there in that pasture, we can come through, spray these thistles, let the pasture kind of come back, and then once the thistles are knocked down and the pasture is grown again, then we can let them come back. So we have quite a few paddocks or pasture plots that we can put them in, and it's just doing the rotation. So as you can see, this was all beautiful lush alfalfa, and the hailstorm took a lot of it down, which is why it's brown. It, however, does not kill the grass. So the bales that we get off of here will still be ones they can eat. It's just not going to be alfalfa rich ones. These were bales that we took off of here last year, and it was just weeds. So we're gonna try and decide what we're gonna do with them. We may roll them out and use them as fertilizer on the fields. We may sell them to someone that needs feed that they can grind up for their cattle. So we'll see. So I kind of have a routine of what I check during the day. So I check this fence. This is over where our 2-year-olds are. And as you can see, that is really lush pasture. That has been pasture for a very long time, whereas where we have our yearlings and our mamas and babies, we just planted that 2 springs ago. Yeah. So this has been pasture for a very long time. And as you can see, it is doing well. And there's only 50 head of goats out here. So they don't, with that many head in here, they don't take a lot of it. And right now I'm just driving through my brother's field, which he rents out, and they got it planted, I do believe, into soybeans. And so after we get the alfalfa taken down, then it is the hay's turn to be taken down. But we do have a double nines mower, which is basically double sickle mowers. We don't use the mower conditioner on this because there's really no need, and this is pretty rough, so it's easier for the mowers to go over it. But kind of matured a little bit earlier this year, and as you can see, it's headed out, which means it is not going to be growing anymore. So then it's time to take it down. Here are the yearlings, and it looks like the boys are still chasing girls. We were gonna pull them, and we might still this next weekend. They've been in there since May 1st, and we don't really like to spread out. Hello, darling. We don't really like to spread out our kidding season over a month. Are you okay? Okay. There's nothing for you to be caught in. You're good? No, I'm just standing there yelling. Whoop, whoop, come on. There we go. Because we don't like to, like I said, we don't like to spread our kidding season out over a month. We generally like to get it done within a couple of weeks. But since we really didn't see that much action happening for the first about 2 or 3 weeks that the boys were out in there, we decided to leave them in a little bit longer, and that seems to be paying off. So there is alfalfa mixed in with this. It is starting to grass in. This is an older alfalfa field. So we're going to be taking this down today or tomorrow or the next day. Within this week, we're going to be very busy with the haying. And it is so sad to see these fields decimated because it was so beautiful before that hailstorm came in. But I know, I say that a lot. But it is heartbreaking because it was very beautiful and very lush and a very promising first cutting. So, but the second cutting will not grow back up, producing our really good stuff until we get this down. So some of it is coming and didn't get destroyed, but the stuff that did get destroyed just needs to be taken off the field before the grass starts taking everything over, because that is what happens. And then you ruin your alfalfa field. Okay, so have the MoCo out. I thought maybe you guys would like to see that. Machine specifically for taking down alfalfa, because it's got roller bars in the back that crush it as it comes out, so it dries out sooner. And we've got the back opened up as wide as it can go, so the windrows can dry out. Still pretty good amount of alfalfa in there. And I think the best part about it is that we run it on the tractor that has air conditioner. That's always a nice thing. One of my first jobs when I was about 14 was running something similar to that, and boy, my tractor did not have AC. It was open the windows and that was your air conditioning. So things have come a long way since I ran equipment like that. So smells so good. That is a scent a person would love to bottle up for sure. So the smell of haying season, gotta love it. So we were trying to wait as long as we could between the rains until we get our next rain, so the ground would dry up, because when you put this down, you know, it's nice to have it laying out so the sun can cure it. And if you put it down on wet ground, well, it just soaks up the water from the wet ground, and it looks like the ground is pretty dry. It did not help that some of this alfalfa was laying on the ground, which just trapped the moisture into it. But as you can see, the MoCo is getting that very, very well. Now when we take down just hay, like I said before, we use a sickle mower. But when we take down the alfalfa, we use our Vermeer MoCo. We also have a Vermeer baler, and we just really like the product. For us, it works really well. The MoCo, very easy to run, very easy to fix if something happens. Just really nice. good feeling though to get that planted, get it in the ground. Now we have 2 more quarters that we're going to be planting into soybeans, but they're about 6 miles south of us. We get more of our alfalfa done, then we will put up the hay in that section line. And we have another section line over here that we put up as well. Hi, babies. Hi. I know that the goats are a lot of work, but I really do enjoy raising goats. Now everybody around us raises cattle, and right now cattle prices are really awesome, really high, which is amazing. Because there was a couple of years in there where they weren't, and so very, very happy for the people around us who raise cattle that the prices are so good.